Riley Callahan had waited so long to become a wolf. Now that she finally was one, she wanted to be the kind of wolf people looked up to, the kind of wolf people could trust, the kind of wolf who would never let her pack down. She wanted to be a really good werewolf. She wasn't sure what being a wolf had to do with wearing a blindfold in the middle of the woods, but if Great Callahan said it was related, then Riley intended to do it well. She had tied her bright blue bandana firmly around her head, exactly as instructed, so that it completely covered her eyes. There would be no peeking for Riley. Your magic has just as much to do with being human as it does with being wolf. Riley couldn't see her mother, but she could hear her boots crunching against the frosty grass as she paced. No matter where you are or in what form, you must always be able to find the others of your prime. Riley had to restrain herself from bouncing on her toes. It had been only 2.5 months since she and her prime pack had been able to transform their bodies into wolves, and this was one of their first training exercises with the other young wolves. The others had all turned when they were supposed to, on the night of the first full moon of summer, and had been practicing with Great Callahan for almost 9 months. The other 4 members of your prime are hidden nearby in the woods, Great Callahan explained. They are allowed to call to you, but they are not allowed to move from their spots. Your job is to find them without transforming. Great Callahan? Riley identified the voice as that of Teddy Griffin. She pictured his sandy brown hair and sky blue eyes, even though they were also covered by a bandana right now. Yes, Teddy? I don't understand why we can't transform. How are we supposed to find anything like this? Teddy managed to sound much older than 13 whenever he spoke, even when he was speaking to adults. Even when he was actually whining, like now. You have many resources at your disposal, Mr. Griffin. Great Callahan's response was unbending. Use them. Riley understood Teddy's frustration. This would be much easier if she were in wolf form, when her senses were so keen she could smell another wolf a mile away. But she didn't understand questioning Mama C that way. She wasn't a regular adult. She was a great. Easy for you to say, Teddy grumbled. This is not supposed to be easy, Great Callahan continued as though she hadn't heard Teddy. And maybe she hadn't. But the job of any alpha is to do things even if those things are difficult. Do the tough stuff, Riley added, quoting rule number 4 of Cecilia Callahan's Alpha Code. That's right, Great Callahan said. Do the tough stuff. In total, 6 young wolves stood in the clearing with Great Callahan. They were all from new prime packs. All the alphas. Your primes are also wearing blindfolds, Great Callahan continued, her voice farther away now. Once you have found them, your job is to lead them safely back here. Riley thought of the other 4 members of her prime pack. Danielle Anderson, her cousin, who 100% would prefer to be reading a book right now. Ken Verderi, who was probably dressed like they were going somewhere that wasn't a wintry forest. Araceli Bravo, with a heart as big as a dinosaur's, and Lydia Edgerton, who Riley was trying very hard to think of as a packmate, and not as the girl who made Riley's cheeks burn every time she smiled. They were the winter pack, the 5 wolves who had transformed on the first full moon of winter. It had been an unconventional transformation for them, but they were different. And, in spite of all that had happened with the Devourer, Riley knew now that they were special.